You think Betty Crocker weeknight dinners from 1960 to 1979 were about convenience and variety? Think again. Between 1964 and 1979, Betty Crocker weeknight dinners were survival engineering.
Now, has everybody had enough to eat?
Yes, thank you.
Hello, Frank.
Glad you didn't wait for me.
Your mother made tuna noodle skillet supper every Tuesday in 1973. One can star-kissed tuna, Betty Crocker's cream sauce from canned soup. Family harmony balanced on whether dinner was ready when Dad walked through the door or you faced questions about what took so long. Your mother made tuna noodle skillet supper every Tuesday in 1973. 2 cans, star-kissed tuna. She paid $0.79 each for, drained and flaked in the Tupperware bowl, mixed with 2 cups cooked egg noodles from the American Beauty bag, stirred with 1 can, Campbell's cream of mushroom soup, and 1/2 cup milk in the electric skillet, set to 300 degrees, topped with crushed potato chips from the Lay's bag, covered and heated for 15 minutes while she changed from her work dress into home clothes and started the dishwasher. The tuna noodle skillet supper emerged steaming and chip-topped, the tuna mixed throughout the cream sauce, feeding 4 in 20 minutes total for $2.89, equivalent to $19 today. It proved you could get dinner on the table by 6, that you mastered weeknight timing, when timing meant walking through the door at 5:30 and serving food exactly at 6 o'clock. When working outside the home, demanded recipes that assembled in 1 skillet while you changed clothes and set the table. Tuna noodle skillet. Supper disappeared when tuna casserole became joke food and working mothers became career women who ordered takeout, when skillet suppers became weird 1970s food instead of Tuesday necessity. Your mother made quick chicken a la king every Wednesday in 1975. 1 can Swanson chunk white chicken she paid $1.23 for, mixed with 1 can. Campbell's cream of chicken soup undiluted, 1/4 cup milk, 1 jar diced pimientos drained, heated in the small saucepan on the electric stovetop, while she toasted 8 slices, sunbeam white bread, and set the Melmac plates on the kitchen table with paper napkins folded next to each fork. The quick chicken a la king emerged creamy and pimiento-dotted, ladled over buttered toast points, feeding 4 for $2.45, equivalent to $13 today. It proved you could serve fancy dinner on weeknights, that you knew a la king when a la king was canned chicken and canned soup. You called elegant because calling it creamed chicken on toast meant admitting Wednesday dinner took 15 minutes, when working meant proving you could still make proper dinners, even when proper was 2 cans heated together. Quick chicken a la king disappeared when canned chicken became pet food instead of weeknight protein, when a la king became restaurant brunch instead of Wednesday skillet. Your mother made Spanish rice skillet every Monday in 1977. 1 pound ground beef she paid $1.34 for, browned in the electric skillet with 1 chopped onion, stirred with 1.5 cups minute rice, 1 can Rotel tomatoes and green chilies undrained, 1.5 cups water, covered and simmered on medium heat for 15 minutes, while she sorted Monday's mail and started a load of laundry in the Maytag washer in the basement. The Spanish rice skillet emerged fluffy and tomato red, the rice cooked through with beef throughout, feeding 5 for $2.67, equivalent to $12 today. It proved you could make ethnic food fast, that you knew Spanish cuisine when Spanish was Rotel and minute rice. When Monday evenings demanded 1 skillet meals, you started at 5:40 and served at 6 o'clock sharp because husbands asked, "When's dinner?" if the table wasn't set by 6:15. Spanish rice. Skillet disappeared when minute rice became wrong and ethnic food became authentic, when Spanish rice became politically incorrect and working mothers became too exhausted to defend 15-minute skillets. Your mother made beef and noodle stroganoff every Thursday in 1974. 1 pound ground beef she paid $1.12 for, browned in the electric skillet and not drained, stirred with 1 can Campbell's cream of mushroom soup, 1/2 cup Daisy sour cream, 2 cups cooked egg noodles from the American Beauty bag, heated through for 10 minutes while she set out the TV trays in the living room and turned on the Zenith television for the 6 o'clock news. Beef and noodle stroganoff emerged creamy and mushroom-flavored, the noodles coated in sour cream sauce, feeding 4 for $2.78, equivalent to $17 today. It proved you could serve Russian cuisine on Thursdays, that you knew stroganoff when stroganoff was ground beef and canned soup, when Thursday night meant eating on TV trays because washing dishes after work meant missing the evening shows, when proving you could work and cook meant serving anything that tasted like dinner. By 6:15, beef and noodle stroganoff disappeared when authentic stroganoff required beef strips and fresh mushrooms instead of hamburger and Campbell's soup, when TV dinners became microwavable instead of skillet-made. Your mother made creamed chipped beef on biscuits every Friday in 1972. 1 jar, Armour dried beef she paid $0.89 for, rinsed and torn into pieces, cooked in 3 tablespoons, butter melted in the small saucepan, stirred with 3 tablespoons flour and 2 cups, milk whisked together, simmered until thick while she popped open 2 cans, Pillsbury Grands biscuits, and baked them according to package directions in the avocado electric oven. The creamed chipped beef emerged thick and salty, ladled over split biscuits, feeding 4 for $2.34, equivalent to $15 today. It proved you could make cream sauce after work, that you knew white sauce when white sauce was butter flour milk, whisked in 12 minutes, and Friday meant easy dinners before weekend freedom, when working meant mastering quick techniques like cream sauce that looked homemade, even when homemade was jarred beef topped with minute rice and canned green beans, both straight from their containers, covered and cooked on medium for 30 minutes, while she paid bills at the kitchen table and folded the dry dish towels from the morning's washing. The 1-pan pork chop dinner emerged steaming and complete, the pork chops tender, the rice cooked in soup steam, feeding 4 for $3.89, equivalent to $18 today. It proved you could cook protein, starch, and vegetable together, that you mastered 1-pan technique when technique meant layering raw ingredients and walking away, when Wednesday evenings demanded dinners that cooked themselves while you handled the second shift of household management after working the first shift at the office. 1-pan pork chop. Dinner disappeared when dump dinners became Pinterest trends instead of working mother necessity, when cooking rice in soup steam became wrong instead of efficient. Your mother made quick chili mac every Monday in 1978. 1 pound ground beef she paid $1.45 for, browned in the electric skillet with 1 chopped onion, mixed together and heated through, while she changed from pantyhose into sweatpants and wiped down the kitchen counters with the sponge. The quick chili mac emerged thick and cheese-studded, the macaroni soft in chili sauce, feeding 4 for $3.12, equivalent to $13 today. It proved you could stretch canned chili, that you knew Monday shortcuts when shortcuts meant opening 1 can of chili and making it feed 4 people through macaroni multiplication, when working meant proving you could provide dinner, even when dinner was hamburger plus canned chili plus pasta you called a meal. Quick chili, mac disappeared when chili became competition food and macaroni became pasta you didn't mix with chili, when chili mac became cafeteria food instead of Monday solution. Your mother made tuna wiggle every Thursday in 1970, 2 cans, Star-Kissed tuna she paid $0.69 each for, drained and flaked, mixed with 1 can, Campbell's cream of celery soup undiluted, 1 cup frozen peas straight from the bird's eye box, The tuna wiggle emerged creamy and pea-dotted, served over buttered toast, feeding 4 for $2.45, equivalent to $23 today. It proved you knew depression recipes, that your mother-in-law taught you tuna wiggle when wiggle was cream sauce, with tuna your generation served after work, when Thursday meant simple dinners with names from the 1930s you kept using because the recipes worked, when working meant honoring Depression-era shortcuts your mother-in-law survived on and you survived on for different reasons. Tuna wiggle disappeared when the name wiggle became joke and creamed tuna became unappetizing, when Depression-era names embarrassed working mothers who wanted modern identities. The meal that once proved generational knowledge became nameless, something people made but called creamed tuna instead of wiggle, and mothers who served it after work stayed silent about the real name, pretending they invented creamed tuna when wiggle was their mother-in-law's recipe they depended on. Your mother made chicken and rice bake every Tuesday in 1975, 6 chicken thighs she paid $1.67 for, arranged skin side up over 2 cups, 1 can Campbell's cream of chicken soup spread directly from the can, 2 soup cans, water poured over everything, baked at 350 degrees for 90 minutes while she drove home from work, changed clothes, and sorted the mail. The chicken and rice bake emerged tender and soup-sauced, the rice cooked perfectly beneath the chicken, feeding 6 for $3.45, equivalent to $18 today. It proved you could start dinner before work, that you assembled casseroles at 6:30 in the morning, refrigerated them, then baked when you got home. When working meant learning morning assembly techniques that produced hot dinners by 6:30 evening. Chicken and rice bake disappeared when cream soup casseroles became dietary villains and Lipton onion soup mix became processed shame, when dump and bake became Pinterest irony instead of working mother engineering. The meal that once proved time management skill became retro joke food, and mothers who assembled it at dawn before work stayed silent about the morning prep, pretending they always cooked fresh, when fresh was impossible. Your mother made skillet pizza casserole every Friday in 1977, 1 pound ground beef she paid $1.34 for, browned in the electric skillet with 1 chopped onion, drained, mixed with 1 jar ragu pizza sauce, 2 cups cooked elbow macaroni, topped with 1 cup shredded Kraft mozzarella, covered and heated until cheese melted while she set the table and poured Kool-Aid from the Tupperware pitcher into plastic tumblers. The skillet pizza casserole emerged bubbling and cheese-topped, the macaroni soft in pizza sauce, feeding 5 for $3.12, equivalent to $13 today. It proved you could make pizza on Fridays, that you knew kids wanted pizza, but pizza delivery didn't exist yet, and Friday meant creating pizza-flavored dinners in skillets because skillets were faster than ordering, when working meant making kids happy through strategic sauce selection that made macaroni taste like the pizza they wanted. Skillet pizza casserole disappeared when pizza delivery replaced skillet approximations, when pizza casserole became something people don't understand because everyone orders real pizza now. The meal that once proved mother ingenuity became unnecessary, and mothers who made pizza-flavored macaroni after work stayed silent about faking pizza, pretending they never had to approximate foods their children wanted because approximation was all that fit between 5:30 and 6:15. These 10 Betty Crocker weeknight dinners required opening cans at 5:30, assembling ingredients in electric skillets, and serving dinner by 6 o'clock. Survival timing disguised as cooking when survival timing meant proving you could work 8 hours and still get hot food on the table before husbands complained. Each recipe demanded speed over perfection, cans over scratch, proving you could manage both jobs when managing meant sacrificing homemade for timely. But the next 5 Betty Crocker weeknight dinners required even more strategic shortcuts, more morning assembly, more techniques that made 6 o'clock dinner possible. Your mother made quick beef goulash every Monday in 1973, 1 pound ground beef she paid $1.12 for, browned in the Lodge cast-iron skillet, stirred with 2 cups cooked elbow macaroni, 1 can Hunt's tomato sauce, 2 tablespoons Hungarian paprika from the McCormick spice rack, 1 cup water, simmered for 15 minutes, while she set the table with the everyday Corelle dishes and opened a can of Del Monte green beans for the side. The quick beef goulash emerged thick and paprika red, the macaroni soft in tomato sauce, feeding 4 for $2.56, equivalent to $16 today. It proved you could make Hungarian cuisine fast, that you knew goulash when goulash was Monday's hamburger macaroni with paprika added, when ethnic names made weeknight hamburger sound sophisticated, when working meant transforming basic ingredients into meals with foreign names that made dinner sound interesting, even when interesting was paprika in tomato sauce. Quick beef goulash disappeared when people stopped calling Monday hamburger macaroni goulash, when ethnic names became appropriation instead of aspiration. The meal that once proved cultural knowledge became nameless debate, and mothers who made it after work stayed silent about calling it goulash, pretending they don't remember when adding paprika made hamburger Hungarian, when Hungarian meant Monday dinner sounded worldly. Your mother made macaroni and cheese with tuna every Wednesday in 1976. 2 boxes. Kraft, macaroni and cheese, she paid $0.33 each for, prepared according to package directions, stirred with 2 cans. Star-kissed tuna, drained and flaked, 1 cup frozen peas, added straight from the bag, mixed together in the saucepan and heated through while she opened the mail and returned phone calls to her mother and sister on the wall-mounted phone with the long cord. Macaroni and cheese with tuna emerged creamy and tuna-studded, the peas bright green throughout, feeding 5 for $2.45. Equivalent to $11 today. It proved you could make Kraft into dinner, that you knew protein addition, when protein addition meant stirring canned tuna into boxed macaroni and calling it a meal, when Wednesday evenings demanded complete dinners that started with convenience products working mothers could assemble while managing household communication, when working meant mastering addition technique. These 5 Betty Crocker weeknight dinners required stirring tuna into Kraft, slicing frankfurters into beans, and serving frozen meatballs in Campbell's soup. Convenience multiplication disguised as cooking when convenience multiplication meant transforming boxes and cans into dinners that appeared homemade. Each recipe demanded accepting processed products as legitimate ingredients, proving you could feed families using products critics called shortcuts, when shortcuts were the only path between work ending and dinner starting. But the next 5 Betty Crocker weeknight dinners required even more strategic product combination, more acceptance of convenience as necessity. Your mother made spaghetti with meat sauce every Wednesday in 1978. 1 pound ground beef she paid $1.45 for, browned and drained, stirred with 1 jar, ragu traditional sauce heated, simmered for 10 minutes while she boiled 1 pound Prince spaghetti in the large stock pot and set out the Parmesan cheese from the green Kraft can on the table with paper napkins folded next to each plate. The spaghetti with meat sauce emerged bubbling and beefy. The spaghetti topped with meat sauce, feeding 5 for $3.12, equivalent to $13 today. It proved you could make Italian dinner fast, that you knew spaghetti when spaghetti was jarred sauce plus hamburger, when Wednesday meant popular dinners kids wouldn't complain about, When working meant choosing recipes, family members actually ate instead of recipes that looked impressive, when impressive didn't matter, but eaten dinner and peaceful evening mattered everything. Spaghetti with meat sauce disappeared when jarred sauce became inferior, and Italian food became red sauce you simmered for hours, when ragu became punchline instead of Wednesday solution. The meal that once proved working mother wisdom became something people pretend they never ate, and mothers who opened ragu jars after work stayed silent about the jarred sauce, pretending they always simmered sauce from scratch, when scratch meant missing the evening news and children's homework time. Your mother made quick chicken divan every Thursday in 1976. One package frozen broccoli spears she paid 0.89 for, cooked according to package directions and drained, arranged in the Corningware baking dish, topped with 2 cans, Swanson chunk white chicken drained, covered with 1 can, Campbell's cream of chicken soup mixed with 1/2 cup Hellmann's mayonnaise, sprinkled with Kraft Parmesan cheese, baked at 350 degrees for 30 minutes while she changed from work clothes and started a load of laundry. The quick chicken divan emerged bubbling and golden, the broccoli soft beneath cream sauce, feeding 4 for $3.67, equivalent to $17 today. It proved you could make elegant dinners, that you knew divan when divan was canned chicken and frozen broccoli, when Thursday meant serving meals with French names using entirely American convenience products, when working meant mastering names that made canned chicken sound sophisticated, even when sophisticated was 3 cans assembled in 20 minutes. Quick chicken divan disappeared when canned chicken became unacceptable and divan became restaurant brunch, when frozen vegetables became inferior instead of time-saving. The meal that once proved working mother elegance became forgotten, and mothers who layered canned chicken after work stayed silent about the 3-can base, pretending they never served canned chicken when canned chicken was Thursday's answer to what's for dinner. Your mother made corned beef hash dinner every Friday in 1973. 2 cans, Hormel corned beef hash she paid $1.12 each for. Spread in the electric skillet and fried until crusty on the bottom, topped with 4 eggs cracked directly onto the hash, covered and cooked until eggs set while she toasted white bread and set out the ketchup bottle and salt and pepper shakers on the table. The corned beef hash dinner emerged crusty-bottomed and egg-topped, served with buttered toast, feeding 4 for $2.89, equivalent to $18 today. It proved you could make breakfast for dinner, that you knew Friday meant easy dinners before weekend freedom, when working meant understanding family dynamics, where Friday dinner could be casual because Saturday and Sunday meals would be proper, when proving you managed both jobs meant knowing which nights demanded effort and which nights accepted canned hash and eggs. Corned beef hash dinner disappeared when breakfast for dinner became trendy instead of Friday survival, when canned hash became gross instead of convenient. The meal that once proved working mother understanding became forgotten, and mothers who opened Hormel cans on Friday after work stayed silent about the canned hash, pretending they never served breakfast dinner when breakfast dinner was Friday's gift to exhausted working mothers who needed one easy night. The meal that once proved working mother understanding became forgotten, and mothers who opened Hormel cans on Friday after work stayed silent about the canned hash, pretending they never served breakfast dinner when breakfast dinner was Friday's gift to exhausted working mothers who needed one easy night. Your mother made quick tamale pie every Tuesday in 1977, 1 can Hormel chili with beans she paid $0.98 for, spread in the Pyrex pie plate, topped with 1 can whole kernel corn drained, covered with Jiffy corn muffin mix, prepared according to package directions and spread over the top, baked at 400 degrees for 20 minutes, while she set the table and made tossed salad with iceberg lettuce and wishbone Italian dressing. The quick tamale pie emerged golden-topped and bubbling, the cornbread crust baked over chili, feeding 4 for $2.45, equivalent to $11 today. It proved you could make Mexican food fast, that you knew tamale pie when tamale was canned, chili-topped with Jiffy mix, when Tuesday meant ethnic-sounding dinners assembled from convenience products, when working meant creating meals with names that sounded interesting even when interesting, was 1 can plus 1 box plus 20 minutes in the oven. Quick tamale pie disappeared when authentic Mexican food replaced Americanized casseroles, when Jiffy mix became baking shame instead of weeknight solution. Your mother made creamed chicken on chow mein noodles every Monday in 1974. 1 can Swanson chunk white chicken she paid $1.23 for, mixed with 1 can Campbell's cream of chicken soup undiluted, 1 can sliced water chestnuts drained, heated in the small saucepan while she opened 1 can La Choy chow mein noodles and arranged them on a serving platter on the kitchen table with soy sauce from the Kikkoman bottle in a small dish. The creamed chicken on chow mein noodles emerged thick and chunky, ladled over crispy noodles, feeding 4 for $3.12, equivalent to $19 today. Creamed chicken on chow mein noodles disappeared when Chinese takeout replaced canned approximations, when chow mein became restaurant order instead of canned noodles. The meal that once proved ethnic cooking knowledge became forgotten, and mothers who ladled cream sauce over canned noodles after work stayed silent about the canned Chinese food, pretending they never served la choy when la choy was Monday's answer to Asian cuisine working mothers could actually manage. These 5 Betty Crocker weeknight dinners required opening ragu jars, spreading canned hash in skillets, and calling canned chili tamale pie. Product dependence disguised as cooking when product dependence was the only honest relationship working mothers had with weeknight dinner. Each recipe demanded accepting convenience products without apology, proving you could feed families using jars and cans when jars and cans were what fit between 5:30 and 6:15. Your mother made quick beef and beans every Wednesday in 1976. 1 pound ground beef she paid $1.23 for, browned and not drained, stirred with 2 cans, pork and beans undrained, 1/4 cup ketchup, 2 tablespoons brown sugar, 1 teaspoon mustard, simmered in the electric skillet for 20 minutes while she set out hot dog buns from the Sunbeam bag and opened a bag of Fritos corn chips for the side. The quick beef and beans emerged thick and saucy, the beans sweet-tangy with beef throughout, served in bowls with hot dog buns, feeding 5 for $2.89, equivalent to $13 today. It proved you could make cowboy food, that you knew beans when beans were canned pork and beans with hamburger added, when Wednesday meant hearty dinners that sounded rustic, even when rustic was 2 cans plus hamburger plus condiments stirred together, when working meant using names like cowboy that made simple food sound intentional instead of rushed. Quick beef and beans disappeared when beans became side dish instead of main course, when hamburger beans became just beans instead of dinner. Equivalent to $16 today. It proved you could combine tuna and cheese, that you knew Campbell's made cheddar cheese soup specifically for working mothers who needed cheese sauce without making cheese sauce, when Thursday meant casseroles you assembled in morning before work and baked when you got home, when working meant learning morning assembly timing that produced hot dinner by 6:30, without standing in the kitchen at 6 o'clock stirring sauce. Tuna cheese casserole disappeared when Campbell's cheddar cheese soup was discontinued, and tuna casserole became joke food when canned soup-based casseroles became embarrassing instead of efficient. The meal that once proved morning assembly skill became forgotten, and mothers who mixed tuna with cheese soup before dawn stayed silent about the discontinued soup, pretending they never depended on Campbell's making cheese sauce when cheese sauce from scratch required time. Thursday mornings didn't allow. Your mother made quick shepherd's pie every Monday in 1978. 1 pound ground beef she paid $1.56 for. Lipton onion soup mix stirred dry into the meat. 1 can whole kernel corn drained and spread over the beef in the Corningware baking dish. Instant mashed potatoes prepared according to package directions and spread smooth, baked at 375 degrees for 25 minutes while she changed clothes and started the laundry. The quick shepherd's pie emerged golden-topped and layered, the mashed potatoes browned on top, feeding 4 for $3.12, equivalent to $13 today. It proved you could make British food fast, that you knew shepherd's pie when shepherd's was ground beef instead of lamb with instant potatoes instead of real, when quick shepherd's pie disappeared when instant potatoes became unacceptable, and shepherd's pie required lamb instead of beef, when instant became insult instead of solution. The meal that once proved working mother adaptability became something people correct you about, and mothers who used instant potatoes pretending they always made real mashed potatoes when real required time. Monday evenings didn't have. Your mother made skillet lasagna every Tuesday in 1977. 1 pound ground beef she paid $1.45 for, browned in the electric skillet with 1 chopped onion, stirred with 1 jar ragu sauce, 4 lasagna noodles broken into pieces and added raw, 2 cups water, 1 cup ricotta cheese dolloped on top, covered and simmered for 30 minutes, helped children with homework at the kitchen table. The skillet lasagna emerged thick and noodle-layered, the ricotta melted throughout, feeding. It proved you could make lasagna without layering, that you knew Italian cooking when Italian was breaking lasagna noodles into skillets with hamburger. But lasagna properly made required 2 hours you didn't have between work ending and homework bedtime. Skillet lasagna disappeared when real lasagna required proper layering, and skillet versions became not real lasagna instead of working mother solution. Your mother made quick Swiss steak every Friday in 1973. 4 cube steaks she paid $2.67 for, bropped with 1 can. Hunt's tomato sauce mixed with 1 chopped onion and 1 chopped green pepper, covered and simmered for 40 minutes while she changed from work clothes, started the laundry, and made instant rice from the minute rice box on the stovetop. The quick Swiss steak emerged tender and tomato-sauced, the vegetables soft around the meat, feeding 4 for $3.89, equivalent to $24 today. It proved you could make Friday steak, that you knew Swiss steak when Swiss was cube steak in tomato sauce, when Friday meant special dinners to end the work week, beef cuts simmered in canned sauce. When proving you could work and cook meant quick Swiss steak disappeared when Swiss steak became old-fashioned and cube steaks became chicken fried only when tomato-sauced beef became weird instead of Friday tradition. The meal that once proved Friday success became forgotten, and mothers who simmered cube steaks after work stayed silent about calling it Swiss steak, pretending they never served cheap family budgets actually allowed between rent and groceries.